vlog number 28, and today we're going to talk about, or now we're going to talk about, what did I say today? It is today. We're going to talk about our experience at Bandelier National Monument, just outside of Los Alamos, New Mexico. As you may recall, we left Santa Fe, New Mexico, kind of an early morning, wake up, got to get gas, breakfast, and get out of there kind of deal.
Do a little shopping.
And whatnot. And we, at my wife's research, at the end of her research, a few days prior, she thought, and she had mentioned it a couple of times, and I was, this went over my head. And then we ended up there, and found a nice spot in the Coyote. I just remembered that.
It's called the Coyote?
Camp Loop. Found a nice spot. We stayed a few days. There was some nice hiking there. For some reason, I think we were a little, the first day was sort of a recovery day for us. Early to bed, that kind of thing. But you went for a nice walk around the loop that was right next to the valley and had a nice overlook of some of the ruins down in the canyon.
Well, there's a lot of good hiking there.
Yeah, we went on a few nice walks. We did end up going down to the visitor center again towards the end of our stay, parking and actually exploring some of the cool Pueblo and ruins.
Visitor center.
Yeah. So, what do you remember most about the whole Pueblo ruins thing? Is what you don't seem to, you guys probably don't see at that end is,
we forget a lot of stuff.
Well, it's not so much that we forget as much as it is, that was back in like May.
Right. It was,
and this is
months ago.
And it's July 11th right now.
Right. You're asking me to remember a lot.
Yeah, and it's not like we didn't want to do all of these videos. So we did a lot of exploring towards the end of the actual ruins themselves, but we did some hiking and stuff like that beforehand. It was a nice campground. It was relatively quiet.
The thing that was nice about it, I have to say, is it was a dark campground. There were no hookups, none of that kind of stuff. So nobody had lights outside their camper, none of that kind of stuff. When it got dark out, it was dark out. You got to see the night sky and not deal with any ambient light from anybody. And
I'm going to do a whole video on just the ambient lighting the next time we're into a campground where that happens, because it's pretty obnoxious. For people that have lived out in the country like we have, we're not used to having, you know, probably 400 or 500 watts pushing through your windows every night when we're at a campground that has hookups. It's just crazy. It's wasteful. It's obnoxious. I don't know where you want to go from there, but that's all.
That's a whole other video in itself.
Right. All right. So
back to Bandelier.
Back to Bandelier. One of the things we did while we were there is we went up to Val's Caldera National Preserve. It's part of the national park system, so our pass got us in there for free.
Gorgeous area.
Gorgeous caldera with thousands of acres of open plains. Little bit of forest fire, wildfire damage up there that you could still see.
Yeah.
I say a little bit. It was a lot.
It was definitely a lot.
We did see some elk.
Yep, we got to see a herd of elk very far away.
Yeah, very far away. But the whole sense of depth perception and distance is really, you really get tested up there, because when you're driving along the road, you stop and you're along with the other people and you're like, wow, this is really pretty. It's just so beautiful. And then you see these little tiny dots in the middle of it, not on the far end, but in the middle. And you're like, oh, and somebody says, whoa, look at the elk. And I'm like, really, elk? And then you get your binoculars. And even in our nice binoculars, the elk are only like this big.
Very far away.
So we ended up going to the visitor center.
Hung out with them, got to chat for a little bit about the area and all that kind of stuff.
Very good conversation. They're always willing to share stories and history of the place. We also got to see Chief Longmire's cabin, as it is in the series Longmire. If you've never seen the series, we were a big follower of the series. Whenever we can get at it on the TV.
It's gorgeous
wherever
scenery. I mean,
gorgeous
you just,
area.
Yeah, it's kind of makes you want to come out here.
Yeah, it really does. Then we left. Of course, that's New Mexico.
I know it is.
Yeah, not Colorado, which is where we are now. So then we left Valles Caldera. One of the other places that we went was more than once was Los Alamos, the town up.
Yes.
John got the first time we went in there, we sort of ended up at the security gate of the Los Alamos National Energy Lab. So that was interesting to be, oops, sorry, I don't have a badge, can't get through, turned us around at the security gate. But there were a lot of these really cool, what do they call it, tech areas?
Yes, tech areas.
Tech areas, at tech area number 48, and you'd look down and it would have its own gate and, you know, all that kind of thing. But we went into Los Alamos. We actually visited a few places there. One was the Bradbury Science Museum. Do you remember that?
I do, and we spent quite a lot of time there.
Quite a lot of time there, and it was interesting. Had a nice video there. We also went to, and I think it was the Los Alamos National something. It was the National Park Service had it.
It's their visitor center to tell you about the area.
Talks about the original Manhattan Project and how it was back in the day, and the security.
People that lived there, and I mean, just moving there and everything
But
else.
don't you think you could really spend a few days just walking around to all the historical places?
Yeah, because we didn't get to go to all of them.
Right. We had dinner there one night. It was kind of cool. We did do a little walking around. Oh, one of the things my wife loves to remember about the town was
they had no parking meters.
Anywhere.
Not one. No parking meters. Do you even remember seeing any cops in town?
Not really.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was almost kind of very Stepford town. Yeah, it was just kind of like a fake village.
However, one downside to this that I do remember was, you didn't have a lot of choice. It was hard to find a laundromat. It really took a lot to find just a laundromat if you wanted to.
And the other big thing was no internet.
Yeah,
the internet there was
not horrible. Went to the library. It was like 0.5 megabyte upload rate. So I ended up biting the bullet and paying for a place called Office Space.
So you guys could get a video.
So you guys could get a video, and I mean, of course, it was lightning speed, but you had to pay for it. But there was no other place in town, no Starbucks, no restaurant, no cafe, nothing that really had decent internet in it, which was really unusual for a town like Los Alamos. You'd think that,
seeing as it's a government town, you would think they had good upload, download speeds, and I think they just shut everybody out.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a security thing or whatever.
Yeah, they don't want any secrets.
No secrets there. So, but it was a very interesting town. You didn't see a lot of panhandlers on the corner, if any. I don't think we saw any. But, you know, I mean, it's probably, what was someone said, it was one of the top towns in the country for schools and things like that. Very diverse schools, because you have people from all over the world that go to school there, so very diverse. So at the end, probably 4 or 5 days, we wrap things up, and
I would go back again.
Would you?
Yeah,
I think I would too.
I'd like to go back and explore some more.
Yeah.
You know, you don't ever have enough time in 5 days.
No.
So I would do it again.
So that wraps things up for Los Alamos, and then we would, for our next vlog, we're going to tell you all about how we met a few people while we were in Bandelier that told us we should go to Abiquiu Lake for our next camping adventure.
Well, okay.
What's the matter?
No, I was going to say we could just tell you about it right now, because
I know,
it's not
but the problem with that is it gets over 10 minutes, and then it's going to take me an hour and a half to upload it. Okay, so we'll see you next time, maybe. Vlog number 29. Vlog number 29. All right, take care now.